I'm Jim Ross. He's Matt Van Horn. And this is the 3 Mile Domination Podcast.
Well, hello, Matt. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Hanging in there. A week behind us and ready for another week coming up. So,
yeah, the year's sure
flying the week out here right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're already in. Well, at this time we're recording this June, so we're already halfway through the year, and it sure doesn't feel that way.
That sounds like I blinked. You know, we're getting old when we keep talking about how time flies.
Yeah, I swear we just got done with Christmas, but now we're in, where I am in Florida, and now we're in hurricane season. So it's amazing how fast time's going by.
Well, my 9-year-old's already making a Christmas list. Like, you got to be kidding me.
I'm telling you.
That's how it goes. Anyway, for today's podcast, I want to talk about it's a basic principle, but I mean it's got to be done. So I figure let's touch on it here. I want to talk about just doing a thorough, simple walkthrough of your facility on a consistent basis. And again, a lot of these times we don't plan these podcasts out, weeks in advance. It's just doing these kind of things, come up like, oh, there's our topic for this week. And what brought this up is, I of course I manage my own sites as well, and I do consultations for some locations, and I also have an auction business. And this site hired me to do their cut locks and do their auctions. And I was out there, and they wanted to pull and do process of units that were late, 60 days late and above. I'm like, oh, well, it's pretty lenient, but all right, you're the boss. I'll go to that and do 60 days and above. So we printed the list off, go out there to start processing units to cut the locks off. Of the 10 units that met those qualifications that were over 60 days late, over half of them didn't have locks on them. Open them up, they're vacant. So, I just shake my head and like, when did these guys move out? And you could have been running that unit again rather than having to sit on your books, collecting, late fees, and now it's written off as bad debt. It's just something simple as a walkthrough. And for our sites, and again, everyone's a little bit different. For Matt and I's sites, we tell them at least twice a week. You put it off, it's a walkthrough report. And each software I'm sure is a little bit different what they term it, but what you're looking at is a report that here's your unit number in order. Are they overlocked? Are they vacant? Are they, occupied and they're current? You know exactly where each unit fits. And it's a great time to walk through each unit. If there's, door damage, you note that. If a latch needs to be replaced, you note that. And overall, just making sure everything's done correctly. Overlocks are on, overlocks are off. Just making sure everything is done correctly. And hopefully there's no break-ins, of course. Because, again, the benefit of doing these walkthroughs is, what if something gets broken into? And you haven't done a walkthrough in a week. And you'll have fun going through the security footage for the last week, trying to find what's going on with that. It's just customer service and just making sure your site's being ran correctly. But anyway, going back to the timeline, print off a walkthrough report, doing that thoroughly, at least twice a week. And other days, you print off your overlocks that need to be done and locks to be taken off. But while you're doing that, you're walking up and down the aisles and just eyeballing each unit. How many times do you come across, we both manage properties. How many times do we come across customers that mistakenly, overlock their unit open? It happens all the time. In fact, I was doing those cut locks last week and I found 2 like that, just walking through. And, that's just customer service. These people are trusting us with their goods in their units. They're there, assuming it's going to be nice and secure and well taken care of. So what if they left their lock on and locked it open? Well, now it's free. People don't roll it up and take what they want. If you're not doing a walkthrough, you're not going to catch that. And, like to think all my customers are angels, but there's always a bad apple in the bunch, and, you know, if someone comes across a unit like that, hey, they're going to think free stuff and start, you know, swiping.
Well, yeah, I mean, part of it is just, you know, getting out of that, you know, for managers who've been in the property for a very, very long time, a lot of times complacency can slip in. And I've seen it over and over again. It's not every manager. You know, obviously you wouldn't, you know, I'm not making a generalization, but just under normal circumstances, someone who's been at a property for a number of years, a lot of times things can be missed. You know, we'll file that paperwork tomorrow. I'll have them sign this lease later. I'll go out and do my walkthrough later. And then all of a sudden later becomes 3 days and 5 days and a week and a month. And this happens continuously. You know, even above and beyond what you're talking about, you know, I just read something I actually presented when we do presentations about the person in California that moved their stuff in and somehow something got mistaken and they moved into the wrong unit. Manager went out there, found some stuff in the unit that wasn't supposed to, didn't, you know, try to follow up, see what might have happened, because obviously people don't just fill a unit full of nice stuff and walk away. It just doesn't happen. So obviously there was a mistake somewhere. But, you know, in this case, the manager emptied out the unit, threw it all away, gave it away, whatever, and then the tenants come back and they're looking for their stuff and it's no longer there. And obviously the customers are very, very upset. Then we start getting lawsuits, and then we have the customers, you know, doing this big social media campaign against the facility. And all it would have taken to stop all of that was, you know, 5 seconds worth of common sense. And we would have been fine.
That's kind of like a throwback to what we were talking about before of, again, I was doing a walkthrough in the vacant units, putting a damn lock on our vacant units. So that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about that in the previous episode. So, again, it doesn't take long. I mean, hell, your average location, what are we talking about, 15, 20 minutes at the most of doing a thorough walkthrough? It's not that much time.
Well, yeah, and, you know, I had a manager, you know, I was talking to at a facility, this was years ago, and, you know, I had mentioned when I first took over the property, they didn't have locks on their units. They didn't, you know, on their vacant units, they didn't even have the auction field. And I talked to him, I said, you know, you guys really should lock all of these units, because you don't know what can happen in these units when they're left open. And he's like, well, I'm not really worried about it because, you know, according to everything I understand, we can't be sued for anything. Oh, don't fall into that trap. Yes, you can be sued for things. Now, whether you win or lose is a completely different story. But you can be sued for darn near most anything. And what we are liable for in this industry, and I know everyone's always worried about lien sales, we are liable for negligence. Or, in other ways, I told it to the managers, we can be sued for being stupid. And that's really what it boils down to. And this is where this complacency thing I consistently harp on comes in, because, you know, you leave a unit door open like that, and someone comes in, maybe someone, let's just say someone who's homeless or something, comes into the property, finds this vacant unit, decides it's a good place to hang out, you know, starts up a sterno or something and burns the place down. You know, that's not something you really want to deal with. Yep. So you just really need to look at, you know, be more observant of what's going on in your property.
And that exact scenario you just played out, about the homeless person coming into a unit and burning it down, yeah, that's happened. It happened last year. I forget where specifically it was, but he burned down an entire building.
Sure.
Yep.
It happens all the time. And, you know, that's not knocking at, you know, homeless people or anything like that. I mean, but it's just one of those things that, you know, it's one of those weird situations where somebody was in there where they weren't supposed to be, and all of a sudden your property's burning down. Now, you want a real insurance nightmare, deal with that.
Can you imagine?
No.
Worst nightmare.
But, I mean, I've worked for companies in the past in storage where buildings have burned down. And it's an absolute nightmare to deal with, because obviously everyone's upset because their stuff is, you know, is gone, and you know, they're trying to figure out who's what, and, you know, what insurance coverages and all these other things. And, you know, when you talk about the scenario that we just played through, all of that would have been taken care of if you just put a green lock on a unit, or a red lock, or whatever color lock you want.
Yep. Oh, maybe we've scared everybody enough to take some time out of their day at manage a facility and doing a walkthrough thoroughly and making sure it's done correctly. It'll save you a lot of heartache.
Well, I can tell you, you know, if you really want to get scared, you know, it's something you really want to wake up to what's going on out there legally, just on all these crazy situations, you know, go to your state Self-Storage Association show, webinars, or go to one of the, the main national shows like ISS or SSA or any of those, and go listen to the legal seminar. It's usually an added fee, but you can actually have a 3 or 4 hour legal seminar that you can pay for. And it's usually a couple $100, but it's usually well worth it. And it's usually, like Jeff Greenberger or Scott Zucker, people that are attorneys in our industry, well-known attorneys in our industry, and the things that they see on a regular basis that facilities are getting sued for, or dealing with customers and things like that, it's absolutely amazing. And we're also right now in an economy that's obviously still recovering, but not very good. And, people are going to look to see who they can tag for anything right now. So you just really, really need to be watching out for yourself.
Well, definitely. That's a simple check and measure to put in place. And like I said, it'll save you a lot of heartache, and it's an easy thing to do.
Yep.
Well, good. Well, again, it's kind of a short and sweet episode here, but I think, again, it's an easy thing, but it's so important to have done and make sure that procedure is put in place at your facility and to document it.
Right.
So I guess you just hit on this real quick. When it is documented, scan them in, keep it in a computer, or keep a physical copy for a while. Don't just do it once and then toss it, because you may need those records to go back on just in case something did come up that you can vouch for. No, at this time, at that date, that unit was overlocked. Everything was fine with that unit. So again, it's not just a matter of just doing it, but documenting that as well and keeping those hard copies. And if nothing else, scan them, and keep them as a digital copy. But you'll keep that record history.
And also, just taking it one step further than what we were just talking about right now, document everything. Your management softwares, and I don't care which one you use, almost, to my knowledge, they all have some sort of notes feature in the software. I instruct my managers, and I know Jim has a very similar policy that, basically if you talk to a customer and it has anything to do other than like the weather or their kids, document it. If they're talking about their unit, talk about maybe moving out, talking about an issue they may have, anything that they talk about in relation to your business, you should document. Date and time. Make sure it's date and time stamped. So if you ever have to go back, documentation is the key to, avoiding a lot of costly errors. So in any way, shape, or form, if you talk to a customer, and like I said, it's not about the weather, the kids, or a grocery list, I would mark something down about it.
I can imagine if our managers did document all that kind of stuff. I feel like we're a counselor already for our tenants. We hear all the stories. We know all their going through divorces. We know their kids' names. We know their pets' names. We know their grandma just died. Imagine if we documented all that crap.
No, I mean, we could. I mean, in the self-storage industry, a lot of times when I'm training my managers, it's basically you're a bartender without alcohol. You're going to hear everything. So. I mean, we'll make nameplates for all of our managers, just like storage counselor or something like that. That'll cover all the bases. Absolutely, and it is amazing what you hear on a daily basis. But documenting, I know we've actually kind of veered off just from doing regular checks, but the documenting. But as far as I'm concerned, it's all in the same ballpark.
It is.
Just you just really need to have records and know what's going on at your site, because if you don't, it's going to sneak up on you one day, and you're going to have something bad's going to happen.
Well, you got it. Again, as long as people listen to this podcast, they can take away, a few things here and there and put them in their facilities, and it's all for the best. Okay. We've done our job. We've done good. I'll take
Absolutely.
it. All right. Well, I think we wrap this one up here, and we'll do it again here in another week.
All right. You have a great week.
You too.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the 3 Mile Domination Podcast. Please check us out at our website, 3miledomination.com, where you can download our free ebook, connect with us on all the social media platforms, and to subscribe to this podcast. Please spread the word to those you think that will benefit from this show. Just don't tell your competitors. Thanks again.